My stepmom emptied my entire room while I was at my mom's house because she wanted to declutter for the new year. She told me she donated everything to charity, but I found my PS5 and rare comics on her Facebook Marketplace page listed for cash. She thought she was going to a luxury spa. Instead, she went to the county jail. I am 16 years old. My life is split into two backpacks. One stays at my mom's house and one stays at my dad's. It's been this way since I was 12, and honestly, I've gotten used to the rhythm of it. Week on, week off. Two different toothbrushes, two different beds, two different sets of rules. My mom is a prosecutor for the district attorney's office. She is sharp, organized, and doesn't take nonsense from anyone. My dad is. Well, my dad is a go-with-the-flow guy. He avoids conflict like it's a contagious disease. This quality made him a fun weekend dad when I was little, but it made him a terrible partner for my mom, and an even worse judge of character when he remarried 2 years ago. Enter Linda. Linda is my stepmother. She is 34, obsessed with manifesting, and spends more time on Instagram than she does in reality. She calls herself a lifestyle curator, which, as far as I can tell, means she rearranges the furniture once a week and buys beige throw pillows. We tolerate each other. I stay in my room, play video games, and read my comics. She ignores me unless she needs someone to take a photo of her holding a matcha latte. This weekend was the crossover. I spent New Year's Eve and the first few days of January with my mom. It was great. We ordered Chinese food, watched movies, and just chilled. Today, Sunday, January 4th, was the transfer day. Mom dropped me off at Dad's house at 4 p.m. so I could get ready for school tomorrow. When I walked up the driveway, I noticed something weird. The blinds in my bedroom window, which are usually closed because I like my room dark for gaming, were wide open. I could see the ceiling fan spinning. I didn't think much of it. Maybe the cleaner had been in. I unlocked the front door. The house smelled overwhelmingly of sage and lavender. Linda was on a cleanse kick for 2026. "I'm home," I yelled, kicking off my sneakers. "In the kitchen," Linda called back. Her voice was too cheerful. It had that high-pitched, nervous quality she gets when she's bought something expensive and hasn't told Dad yet. I walked past the kitchen. Linda was sitting at the island with her iPad, scrolling. Dad was watching football in the living room. "Hey buddy," Dad said, "good week." "Yeah, fine," I said. "I'm gonna go unpack." I walked up the stairs. The hallway felt different, echoey. I reached my door, it was closed. I turned the handle. I walked in. And I froze. My room was gone. I don't mean it was messy. I don't mean things were moved. I mean it was empty. My desk was there, but it was bare. My computer monitor, gone. My mechanical keyboard, gone. My bookshelf. It used to be double-stacked with my graphic novel collection. I had first editions. I had a signed copy of Watchmen. I had the entire run of The Walking Dead. Now, empty shelves, just a single potted succulent sitting in the middle of the middle shelf. I looked at the corner where my TV and PS5 setup used to be. The TV stand was there. The TV was gone. The PS5 was gone. The controllers, the headset, the stack of games, gone. I looked at my closet. The door was open. My hoodies, my sneakers, my vintage band tees that I had collected for 3 years, gone. The room was white, beige, and empty. It looked like a guest room in a hospital. I felt a cold shockwave hit my chest. I couldn't breathe. I spun around and ran back downstairs. "Dad," I screamed, "Dad." Dad jumped up from the couch. What's wrong? Are you hurt?" "Where is my stuff?" I yelled. "My room is empty. Who robbed us?" Linda walked out of the kitchen. She was holding a mug of tea. She looked calm, serene, even. "Oh, Jake," she said, smiling that beatific influencer smile. "Nobody robbed us. I did a New Year's purge." I stared at her. "A what?" "A purge," she repeated. "New year, new me, new energy. I was reading this book about minimalism and I realized this house was just weighted down by things. especially your room. It was so cluttered. It was blocking your chakras. You couldn't focus on your studies with all those distractions. My distractions, I choked out. You mean my property? Where is my PlayStation? Where are my comics? I donated them, she said simply. You donated them. Yes, to the Goodwill Center downtown. Think of how happy some less fortunate child will be to have those video games. And the clothes. Someone really needed those hoodies. It's charity, Jake. It's a good deed to start the year. You gave away my PS5, I stepped toward her. That cost $500. I bought it with my own money from my summer job. You gave away my comics. Those are worth thousands, Linda. Thousands. Oh, stop exaggerating, she rolled her eyes. They were old comic books. They smelled musty. And the video game thing is bad for your brain anyway. I did you a favor. Now you have a clean slate. A sanctuary. I looked at Dad. Dad, she threw away everything I own. Do something. Dad looked uncomfortable. He looked at Linda, then at me. Linda, honey, you probably should have asked him first. The PS5 was expensive. I was surprising him, Linda said, acting hurt. I spent all weekend deep cleaning. I scrubbed the baseboards. I painted the trim. I wanted him to have a fresh start. And honestly, Robert, if he's going to be ungrateful, maybe he doesn't deserve a fresh start. Ungrateful, I shouted. You stole my stuff. That's theft. You can't just walk into my room and give away $5,000 worth of stuff because you watched a Marie Kondo video. It was clutter in my house, Linda snapped, her mask slipping. I am the lady of the house. I decide what the aesthetic is, and I am tired of looking at that junk. It's my room. It's a guest room you use sometimes, she corrected, and now it's a peaceful guest room. I was shaking. I was actually vibrating with rage. I looked at Dad again. He was rubbing the back of his neck. Jake, calm down, Dad said weakly. We can go to Goodwill tomorrow. Maybe they haven't sold it yet. We'll buy it back. Buy it back, I laughed, a hysterical, broken sound. You want me to buy back my own stuff that she stole? We'll sort it out, Dad said. Just go upstairs, cool off. We'll talk about it at dinner. I'm not eating dinner with her, I said. I turned around and ran back upstairs to the empty white box that used to be my room. I slammed the door. I sat on the bare mattress. I pulled out my phone. I didn't call Goodwill. I knew how Goodwill worked. If she dropped off a PS5, it was gone in 10 minutes. The employees would have bought it. But something about Linda's story didn't sit right. Linda was selfish. Linda loved money. Linda complained about how expensive her oat milk was. Would she really just give away a PS5? Would she really dump a box of pristine, bagged-in boarded comics into a donation bin? I opened the Facebook app. I went to the search bar. I typed in Linda last name. I clicked on her profile. It was public, of course. Her latest post was from 2 hours ago. A photo of a brochure for the Golden Lotus Spa in Arizona. Caption, so excited for my solo retreat next week. 5 days of healing, crystals, and luxury. I earned this. Self-care manifestation. A spa trip in Arizona. Flights, hotel, treatments. That costs money. Dad had been complaining about the credit card bills last month. He told me things were tight. So where did Linda get the money for a luxury retreat? I clicked on the Marketplace tab on her profile. My heart stopped. There it was. The first listing was posted yesterday at 2 p.m. Gaming bundle like new. PS5 console, 2 controllers, headset, 15 games. $600. No lowballers, I know what I have. The photo was taken on our kitchen island. I recognized the granite. I recognized my custom red controller. I scrolled down. Vintage comic book lot. Marvel and DC. Excellent condition. $400 for the box. The photo showed my long box. The one with the sticker of Venom on the side. The one containing my Amazing Spider-Man 300. That single comic alone was worth $300 in the grade I had. She was selling the whole box for $400. Designer sneaker collection, size 10, Jordans, Yeezys, $200 takes all. My shoes, my collection. Monitor and keyboard, high-end, $150. She hadn't donated anything. She was fencing my property. She was liquidating my life to pay for her mud baths and massages. I did the math. $600 plus $400 plus $200 plus $150. That was $1,350 just in the listings I could see. And there were sold banners on the PS5 and the comics. She had already sold them. I felt a cold rage settle over me. It wasn't the hot, screaming anger I felt earlier. This was different. This was the kind of anger my mom gets right before she cross-examines a witness who thinks they're smarter than her. I took screenshots, every listing, every photo. I screenshotted the sold status. I screenshotted her profile picture. I screenshotted the post about the spa trip. Then I called my mom. "Hey, honey," Mom answered on the first ring. "Did you forget something?" "Mom," I said, my voice was deadly steady. "You need to come pick me up, and you need to bring the police." "Jake, what's going on? Are you safe?" "Linda stole my stuff," I said. "She emptied my room. She told me she donated it to Goodwill." "She what?" Mom's voice dropped an octave. "She threw away your things." "No," I said. "She lied. She sold them on Facebook Marketplace. I'm looking at the listings right now. She sold my PS5. She sold my comic collection. The comics Grandpa gave me." There was a silence on the line, a terrifying silence. "How much?" Mom asked. "What's the total value?" "The comics alone are insured for $3,000, I reminded her. We had added a rider to her homeowner's policy last year when the value went up. The electronics are another $1,000. The clothes, maybe another $1,000. It's over $5,000, Mom." "That is grand larceny," Mom said. I could hear the sound of her keys jingling. "Stay in your room. Do not speak to her. Do not let her leave. I am calling the station. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I hung up. I sat on the bed and waited. Downstairs, I could hear Linda humming. She was probably packing for Arizona. She was probably thinking about how clever she was. She thought I was just a kid. She thought Dad would smooth it over. She thought she could bully me into accepting that my stuff was clutter. She forgot who my mother was. 20 minutes later, I saw blue lights flash against the bedroom wall. Not one car, two. I walked to the window. 2 squad cars pulled up to the curb. My mom's SUV pulled up behind them. She got out. She wasn't wearing her mom clothes. She was wearing her court blazer. She looked like she was about to end a career. She walked up to the officers. She pointed at the house. She handed them a file folder. She must have printed the insurance rider and the custody agreement before she left. They walked to the door. I went out into the hallway and stood at the top of the stairs. The doorbell rang. Dad opened it. "Officer, is everything okay?" "We're here to speak to a Linda last name," the officer said. He was a big guy, stone-faced. Linda walked into the hallway, drying her hands on a dish towel. She saw the cops. She saw my mom standing behind them. "What is this?" Linda asked, laughing nervously. "Is this about the noise? The TV wasn't that loud." "Linda last name," the officer said. "We have received a complaint regarding the theft and sale of property belonging to a minor, specifically electronics, collectibles, and clothing." "Theft?" Linda scoffed. "I didn't steal anything. I decluttered my house. I have the right to clean my own home." "The property belonged to your stepson." My mom stepped forward. Her voice was ice. "And you didn't clean it. You sold it. We have the screenshots of your Facebook Marketplace listings." Linda's face went pale. I was selling old things to buy new things for the house." "You sold a PlayStation 5 for $600, Mom said. You sold a comic collection valued at $3,500 for $400. You pocketed the cash. It's community property, Linda yelled. I'm married to his father. Everything in this house is ours. False, Mom said. Under the custody agreement, Jake's personal possessions are his sole property. And even if they weren't, selling items that belong to another person without their consent is larceny. The value exceeds the statutory limit for a felony. Robert, Linda shrieked, turning to my dad. Tell them you gave me permission. Dad looked at the cops. He looked at Mom. He looked up the stairs at me. I stared at him. This was it. This was the moment. I didn't, Dad said quietly. I didn't know she sold them. She told me she donated them. You liar, Linda screamed. You said I could redecorate. Redecorate, Dad said. Not pawn my son's inheritance from his grandfather. The officer stepped into the house. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to show me where the items are. They're gone, Linda yelled. I sold them. People came and picked them up yesterday. So you admit to selling them? The officer asked. Yes, it's my house. Ma'am, turn around and place your hands behind your back. Linda froze. What? You are under arrest for grand larceny and dealing in stolen property. You can't arrest me, she screamed as the officer grabbed her wrist. I have a spa trip. I have a flight tomorrow. You're going to miss your flight, the officer said, snapping the cuffs on. She started thrashing. This is insane. It's just toys. It's just comic books. Robert, help me. Dad stood there. He looked broken, but he didn't move. You sold his comics, Linda. You knew how much those meant to him. Mom walked past Linda, who was now being dragged out the door, screaming obscenities at me. Mom came up the stairs. She hugged me. Go pack a bag, she said. Whatever is left, you're coming home. There's nothing left to pack, Mom, I said. Just the clothes I'm wearing. Mom's jaw tightened. We'll get it back, I promise. We went to the station. I gave my statement. I showed them the screenshots. The detectives were actually pretty cool about it. One of them was a gamer. When he saw she sold the PS5 for $600, he shook his head. That's cold. Because Linda used Facebook, the police were able to contact the buyers. Here is the miracle. The guy who bought the comics, he was a collector, a local guy who owns a shop. When the police contacted him and told him the goods were stolen property involving a minor, he brought them back immediately. I knew the price was too good to be true, he told me at the station. I thought maybe she didn't know what she had. I didn't know she stole them from a kid. Here, man, check them. They're all there. He gave them back. He lost his $400 until he sues Linda, but he gave them back. The PS5 was gone. The buyer blocked the police number. The clothes were gone. But the comics, the things that couldn't be replaced, were safe. Linda spent the night in jail. Dad refused to bail her out. He told her she could use her spa money for bail, but the police had seized the cash she had in her purse as evidence. She is currently out on bond, staying at her sister's house. Dad filed for divorce 3 days ago. He said he couldn't live with someone who would steal from his child. He's trying to buy me a new PS5, but they are sold out everywhere. He gave me the cash instead. Mom is pressing full charges. She says she is going to make sure Linda has a felony record that follows her forever. Manifest that, Mom said. I'm back at Mom's house. My room here is full. My comics are in a fireproof safe now. I went to Dad yesterday to help him pack up Linda's stuff. We found her vision board for 2026. It had pictures of the spa, a new car, and a happy family. I took the vision board, I put it in the trash. And then I put a listing on Facebook Marketplace. Assorted crystals and sage bundles, slightly used, bad vibes, free to a good home. So, dear viewers, was I wrong for sending my stepmom to jail instead of a spa? If you have made it this far and want to see more videos like this, then kindly subscribe and turn on notifications so you may never miss another story like this.